again. Big opening. Pass 5. Pass 10. Berkel's a man. And he goes all the way to the 15-yard line. 17 yards out the
Welcome back to the Believe in Badgers podcast on the Believe Podcast Network, presented by betonline.ag. Once again, I'm Matt Perkins, joined, as always, by Badger legend, the Hebrew Hammer himself, Matt Bernstein. Bernie, how are we doing today?
Man, this could be one of my favorite podcasts of all time. We have the running backs coach of the Badgers, Devon Spalding. You don't even know what it means to talk to a running back coach for the Badgers again. It brings me back to the glory days of the 01 to 05, seasons. But Coach, thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. 01 to 05, by the way, you look really, really good for playing back then. All right. I would have never guessed that, but I appreciate you guys having me on the show.
Yeah, especially for a guy with no neck. He's looking real good.
Coach, we talked about, like the fullbacks, that you didn't need a neck, and you just really, you needed a brain, but you needed to run through walls too. So that's what I'm working with right now.
I hear you.
But I'm gonna force my wife to listen to this right away to hear me get some props finally.
Before we get started, want to remind you guys that we are presented by betonline.ag, where they continue to be your number one source for all of your online sports wagering needs. You name it, they've got it over there at betonline.ag. So head on over to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit using our promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV over at betonline.ag. BetOnline, where the game starts.
But Coach, let's talk about you. We got you for a couple of 25 more minutes. Man, we can get into your background, but dude, how exciting is it to be the running back coach at the University of Wisconsin?
It's very exciting, having the opportunity to come to a place that's called RBU and be the coach of RBU. There's a lot of stressors and pressure that come with it, but that's what you want when you're in this role and in this position, right? And you want to be able to work with the best. And, I think I work with the best unit in the country day in and day out.
So Coach, what was like the transition, Coach Fickell gets the job. What's transpires from that point?
Well, I was at Youngstown State as the running back coach there. I had worked with Coach Fickell in 2019. I was a graduate assistant, and I'd worked with some of the guys that were on the offensive staff when they came over, and they had a running back position open up, and they gave me a call and said, "Hey, we think we want you to come and interview for this. What do you think about it?" And I said, "Absolutely." And, I did a Zoom interview, which was the first round. And then they brought me on campus for the second round. And then they named me the running back coach.
I don't even know what to say. Like, that must be the coolest thing.
It was phenomenal, man. It was a really cool experience.
Because you grew up in Michigan and you went to Central Michigan and you were running back, wide receiver combo there. So you grew up in the Midwest. Like, the brand of football in Big Ten, Michigan, Ohio State, Wisconsin. What was that like for you growing up? And then it's almost full circle, dude. The coach in the Big Ten is pretty phenomenal.
There's no doubt. Obviously I'm very, very familiar with the Big Ten brand of football. And believe it or not, I grew up wanting to be a running back either at Wisconsin or Nebraska, which is a little weird based on where I lived. Everybody around me, especially around where I was at, was Michigan fans. And, obviously you catch some flack for not being a Michigan fan. I live 20 minutes away from Ann Arbor, but, I've always kept tabs with Big Ten. I've always loved the way that the game is played in the Big Ten, and I think it's the best conference in college football.
I totally agree with you. So you bring up the way that the Big Ten was played, which is interesting because I think now with Longo and just his offense and his methodology, right. It's not Big Ten football as much as we believe what it was from, let's say, 2005, when it was just do power right, power left.
Well, I would say this, a lot of people get the hurry up tempo and the spread air raid system confused, right? A lot of people think it's more of a finesse game. that's not the message that, we plan on sending. We're still going to fire off the football, still going to run the run plays, still going to hammer the rock, and we're still going to be able to punish people the way that we've been punishing people here in the past. So, I think that's a big misconception when people hear about what type of brand of football we're running here. We're still going to smash it. You know what I mean? So it's exciting to be a part of. It just gives you the best answers and the best of both worlds, right? They want to be able to take away the run, we're going to throw the football. They want to be able to take away the pass, we're going to run the football. So it's football at its simplest form.
And in that theory, in that algorithm, the running back is important in every single phase you just talked about. So I want to go back because you coached a dude who was phenomenal at Youngstown State. And so he came from Notre Dame College, right? What was it like getting him in the room and then molding him to be what, the all conference? Was the conference MVP? He
was the conference MVP. He ended up being the all-time career NCAA rushing yard leader. The whole thought process of getting him in the room, when I was first there, the guys were very, very good people. I loved coaching the guys that we had, but my thought process was, I think we got to shake this room up a little bit. You know what I mean? I think we got to be able to light a fire under some of these guys' butts. And, lo and behold, we go to the portal and Jaleel McLaughlin's in the portal. And, I get him on the phone and, we talk to him a little bit and, I recruited him hard for the next month and we get him into the room and, we went from being good running backs, but when Jaleel got in there, Jaleel brought out everybody's best, right? Everybody was looking to become better at every area and aspect of their game, which again was a whole thought process between me and my head coach, Doug Phillips. And, obviously Jaleel separated himself and Jaleel played the way that Jaleel played. And, he's one of the best football players I've ever seen play the game of football. And I'm very excited to be able to watch him on his journey here, preparing to hopefully be drafted.
So I love that because I think it brings some experience to now the room you're in with, to me, two guys who could be potentially like thunder and lightning in this offense. I mean, you're talking about Braelon Allen's one of the best dudes we've had, a plethora of guys that we've had who've been fantastic. But he just the second he got on campus at 17 looked the part.
Right.
And then he did it, right? He didn't just look like he walked the walk. And then you got Chez, who I think has taken leaps and bounds, and he to me is very exciting in this new kind of offense, catching the football, maybe being moved out, maybe being in the slot. Who knows what what you guys are going to do with him? But these athletes, man. What's it like walking into that room? What's it like? Do you watch his film before you even get into the room to say, wow, we got these dudes? And are you taking notes and figuring out what we got to work on and what we got to do to even elevate these guys?
So I kind of took the adverse approach in terms of what most people would do. I wanted to work with them first on the field before I watched their tape because I wanted to get an assessment with my own two eyes of the things that I was seeing, then go back, put the games. I watched every single game from last season that they played in. And, I decided to do it after OTAs. After I worked them out in individual, watched them be able to move laterally, watched their change of direction, their stop and go, their ability to catch the football, their ability to run routes. And, I just wanted to make sure what I was seeing in person was matching up what I was seeing on tape. And, then from there, you decide that you're going to, you make a plan of action that is going to be all encompassing for the athletes in your room, right? So, maybe somebody needs work on inside zone. Somebody needs work on their gap scheme footwork, their aiming point, their ability to react to different things that they see. And from there, you start to build what you're going to do in individual. So, that was the whole plan. As soon as I got here, I knew that's what I wanted to do. And I think it's paid dividends for us. And I think we've gotten a lot better at all the areas that they said that to me that they wanted to get better at. And it's phenomenal working with those two and really everybody in my room. I have really, really good kids in my room. I have really, really smart kids in my room. And the amount of physicality and toughness that they play with on a daily basis is you're a fullback, you take a lot of appreciation in that. So I love my guys, man. And I'm very blessed to be where I'm at.
Do you want to just give us just only positives of the dudes that are in the room? Like what I mean, I feel like I could guess what some of the guys in the room could do, but do you want to give us like Braelon, A gap to A gap is phenomenal, or just give us some positives about all the guys in the room?
Braelon's got a really good feel for gap scheme right now, and he's starting to develop his outside zone feel. Obviously, that's more of a field play. He does a phenomenal job for me in pass protection. That's the area that he's grown the most since I've been here, and I love that. We take a lot of pride in pass protection in my room. Chez has one of the most natural feels for inside zone that I've seen since I've been playing the game of football and being on the other side coaching football. He's very natural at that. Cade Yakimelli, he's very dangerous in open space. He's got the most. So we chart open space wins in my room, right? Because in order to be able to be a successful running back, you got to be able to make people miss. And in the front of the room, we got the open space wins, and Yakimelli's winning by like 6 or 7, which is absurd. So he's dangerous in open field. Jackson Acker is, I'm sorry, I said his name wrong. Jackson Acker is, he was a fullback, right? And he made the transition into becoming a running back. And I've never seen somebody be able to transition with such ease. He's a very good athlete. He's very tough. He's very physical. Obviously, he's going to be great in pass protection, but his ability to move between tackles with the ball in his hands is very surprising. And then Grover Bortolotti, his nickname is PB. PB stands for Pitbull. He goes out there and he plays his ass off, man. I mean, he told my guys yesterday, he goes, I'm going to tell you what, I hope I don't get one carry in the spring game. I just want to pass protect every play.
That's a bad dude who wants to do. That's not somebody you want to mess with.
And he's the smallest guy in the room, but he walks around and he plays like he's the biggest. And I love him. And I love working with him. He's taken leaps and strides and bounds from where we started, man. And he's fun to work with. And then Zach Glaubman, another guy that was a fullback who made the transition to running back. And he might lead the country in spring ball rushing yards all over the country. I'm not joking. When he's in the game, he finds a way to move the football, man. But no, these guys, they're really fun to coach. They all have different characters and personalities, and it meshes really well. The culture inside the running back room is phenomenal. Everybody wants to see everybody do well. And like I said, man, before, I'm really blessed to be in the position that I'm in.
We talk about these guys every single day. It's like they're my brothers already, and I think I met Braelon one time. It's really exciting. So, Coach, I got a question. I'm brand new, like I'm coming in. What are some of the things you preach that you like need RBs to be able to do so they can play for you?
So the first thing is ball security, right? You got to be able to take care of the football. The second thing is you got to be able to protect the quarterback, right? We take a lot of pride in pass protection, and, pass protection technique, it's a little complex, but the moral of the story is don't let that guy touch the quarterback. You got to take pride in being a pass protector. It's a mindset, right? And then just your ability to play to your strengths. If you're a big guy, I want you to play with physicality. If you're an elusive guy, I want you to be able to make people miss, right? But we all have to be able to catch the football. We all have to be able to take care of the football. We all have to be able to protect the quarterback. And then, like I said, man, play to your strengths.
Believe in Badgers is excited to be brought to you by Infinigods. Infinigods is a gaming studio with a suite of free, fun-to-play games centered around ancient mythologies and civilizations. Visit Infinigods.com to play their first game, Infinimerge, and learn about their upcoming tower defense game. Play for fun or play to compete and take your shot at winning digital collectibles. That's Infinigods at Infinigods.com, unleashing the power of blockchain games.
So in some of the scheme, the running scheme, what are some of the key points that these guys have to make? Is it getting movement? Is it getting guys running? Is it getting up on the lineman's heels? Like, these are all things I grew up with. So yeah. I'm really interested in kind of the spread, the maybe some difference, maybe it's the same.
So, I have a very, very different approach with running backs. I played the position and I was coached by a guy that kind of took the same approach that I'm taking. And, the approach is you don't want robots in your room, right? Because no one run play is going to be identical to the one that we ran before, even though it's the same exact run called. So we work on a lot of different reactionary drills, right? Because you're going to have a read key inside of every single run play. And then after your read key, you got to be able to read what your offensive linemen are doing once your read key declares, and you have to be able to react. So all of our drills are reactionary based. Each run play is obviously going to have a different aiming point. Each run play is going to have a different read key. Each run play is going to have a different tempo. The footwork can vary. The footwork can stay the same depending on what you want to do and how you want to operate. But being able to understand the differences inside of those run plays and run schemes and aiming points and read keys will get you to where you want to go. But being able to react after what you see is going to get you to where you want to be. So those are just things that are, obviously it's simply said and a lot more difficult to accomplish and do, which is why we practice it, right? Which is why you have the drills that you have.
That's a Coach White, my coach, used to say, don't be a robot all the time.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. I love what you're saying. I think for people who are listening, that sounds like a lot, right? Like read keys, all these other things, second, it sounds like a lot, but dudes like Braelon Allen and Chez and like all these other guys, it becomes like a feel,
exactly,
right? That's what separates some of these dudes who are fantastic, is that they have their keys, they have their reads, their landmarks, and they follow them, but then they just kind of trust their instinct.
Exactly. That's the whole point of being a running back, right? But just like everything, it just takes repetition. The more reps you get, the more comfortable you start to get, and the better you're going to be able to play.
So, Coach, what's been, I think you said OTAs, but spring OTA is an NFL thing, right?
No, we do OTAs too. We do OTAs
okay.
too. Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was just called spring ball, I guess, back in the day.
OTAs, and then you get spring ball after OTAs.
Got it. So there's some things that are different.
Yeah.
There are some things that are changing that I don't even understand. But I'm sure you probably don't either. But some of this NIL stuff is bananas. But we don't have to get into that. We're not getting into that because that's a whole other conversation. Yeah, you're welcome. I don't want to get into it. I believe I should have been paid a lot more than I was, which was zero. I lost my train of thought now on getting onto the NIL stuff. But where was I, Matt Perkins?
I'm gonna interject here so I can
Jump
finally
in,
ask one question. Coach, Bernie, what was Coach White's favorite saying? Don't be a Pop-Tart.
Was it don't be a robot? Don't be a Pop-Tart.
Yeah.
Don't be a Pop-Tart.
What are some of your favorite? What are some of the things that you're saying over and over and over again that the guys are already sick of you saying?
Probably make sure when you're out here, you're being intentional. You should never line up in your stance and not try to get something out of a play. When you walk out of the tunnel, you're the baddest guy on the planet. Trimming the fat, inside zone, you probably have to ask the guys though. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really pay much attention to the things that I'm saying. I get in coach mode, and you kind of black out when you're in coach mode.
High and tight. That's
exactly
high and tight all day.
Ball on the outside arm, all that stuff.
Use the other
running back coach stuff.
Use your other arm as a weapon. Be violent.
Exactly. Okay. Yep. I
deliver the blow.
Sure.
We used to joke if anyone ran out of bounds, we'd be like, "Dude, don't do that. You want to bring." Although I think running out of bounds is actually a smart thing to do. I think it's a horrible thing to stay in bounds. That's my new thought process as an older person.
Yeah, I mean, I preach to finish runs. You know what I mean? I don't want to see people running out of bounds, but
Listen, when I was 20 years old and I could do anything I wanted, I was trying to crush people.
Right.
But some of those dudes are coming beeline at you, and if they know you're not going to run out of bounds, it was always a collision.
Always a collision, exactly.
Always.
Yeah, but you
I'm with you. Be violent, Bernie. Finish forward.
You usually won the collisions. Let's face it. You were 270. You were winning most of those collisions. So,
dude, I was under 270. No matter what anyone says.
Okay, sure. Well, we'll go with that. No, Coach, what's it been like to work with Coach Longo and Coach Bicknell, two guys who we've had the good fortune of talking to, who have just a vast wealth of experience in the game of football, and what have you learned most from those two guys?
Yeah, it's been phenomenal. I mean, they've both been a part of very successful offenses with each other, without each other. And, they vibe really well together, which is really cool to see. Their philosophy is simplicity, but we're going to be complex on our end, which is phenomenal. I think that's the way that it should be, right? Coaches should do all the thinking, let the players go out there and play football very fast. And, being a part of this system it's one of the systems I've always wanted to be a part of, be able to understand the air raid offense. And it's been phenomenal, man. The transition's been great. They're both really good teachers. They both make things seem very, very simple. And I think that's why they're really good at what they do.
Well, Matt, are you done? Because I got 100 more questions.
Yeah, you're up, bud. I got my questions. I'm letting you go, buddy.
I can do this all day.
Yeah, I know you can. That's
Coach, I just want to sit in the room with you and just BS because I feel like we could have such a good time.
Oh, we'd have a great time. Anytime you want to come over here, you hit me up. I'll get you my phone number after.
Done. I appreciate that. Matt Perkins and I think I'll be there for sure. June 30th, Squat Fest.
No. That's a
Can't
guarantee.
wait to see.
No, that is a stone.
What these dudes are doing in the weight room.
We will be there.
Coach Brady already has the date out for Squat Fest.
Yeah, we're there.
Yeah.
We're there. You guys are gonna love what you see.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
Yeah,
it's very exciting.
I'm planning my summer vacation.
Brian Calhoun said he met you. Yeah, that's our summer vacation is watching other dudes lift heavy weights and not having to do anything. It's kind of great. Coach, we had Brian Calhoun recently on. He was Badger 04, 05, 06, somewhere 05. I think he graduated. No, he did because he graduated with me. He said he loved your energy. He says you're young, you're vibrant. What do you think? Like, where'd you get like your coaching? Like, I don't know, montage, like everything. Like, where'd you get your coaching?
Where's your vibe come from?
Yeah, where's your vibe from?
That's a good question, man. I started coaching my little brothers when I was like 10 years old and they were playing baseball, right? So I have a lot more coaching experience than what it says on paper, right, from college football. But I coached them in baseball, I coached them in football, I coached them in wrestling, and I don't know, it's just the way that I am. I have a lot of intensity, but the intensity stems from the passion and love that I have for the game of football. And, I think coaching should be intense. I think you should hold your players to a certain level and a certain standard day in and day out. But I also think you should be the first one to celebrate when your players do the things that they're capable of doing, right? They break a long run, they finish somebody in open space, they break a long run, they win in open space, they pick up a pass or they pick up a blitz with perfect pass protection technique. Like, those things get me excited. You know what I mean? I'm going to be juiced. I'm going to be the first one out there to dap them up. I don't care how fast we're going, what the tempo of practice is. I'm going to be excited, and they're going to know about it.
I love that. So you talk about the tempo of practice. We've heard it's very fast, very upbeat. What's it like for your guys? Well, what's it like to try to coach? You walk in the room and you're like, hey, guys, practice is different. You're no standing around.
Right.
What's been that kind of that progression?
Well, you just have to have a really good memory of the things that your players have done, right? Because you're going to be out there for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 plays in a row. So I just try to keep a mental note, and before each play, I revisit, right? So we got 8 plays. So play 1, hey, this was the coaching point. Okay, play 2, no coaching point. Play 3, here's a coaching point. Okay, what was play 1 again? Play 3. So then they come over on the sideline. You can have educated conversation about the things that they were seeing, the things that they were doing, and what you saw, and how they need to maybe switch their focus from one thing to another thing inside of this play, So a lot of that's just being able to retain the information that you're seeing as you're seeing it. And then once they run off the field, you go over to them, you get it coached real quick, try to keep one eye on the field, one eye on your player when you're coaching them, you know what I mean? But, I have a student assistant. His name's Cooper Eckert, and he is one of the best I've ever been around. I mean, he's better than most of the GAs I've been around. He's phenomenal. I have no problem or qualms with him being able to come over and tell me, hey, coach, this is what I saw. Boom, I'll go relay the message. And he does a great job for me, and I'm very, very thankful for him.
Is it a lot of – that's really cool. That's good to have someone trusted. Is there a lot of coaching in the film room?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yep. That's where you get most of your coaching done, right? Because we're so high tempo and we're so upbeat. There's just but naturally going to be things that you weren't able to touch on or you forgot, and – we go through, you make your practice cut up. So the plays that need to be coached, and, you go through, and it's going to be anywhere from 50 to 70 plays. You got the kids for an hour and some change. You buzz through that, you cut them loose.
Yeah. Oh, man, we used to watch film for forever.
Do
you cut out plays that were good, or do you watch every play?
I take good and bad plays. The plays that don't have any coaching points, we won't watch them. So.
Got it. We would just go through it quick. So question, Mike, there was a fight at camp once, and the film guys gave us a clip, and then they would always cut the fights out. It's a waste of time anyway. My coach was like, dude, don't do that anymore. So we used to watch the fight clips.
Is that right?
He used to tell them, he'd be like, give me all the fight clips. And you try to get us juiced up, be like, hey, you're going to let these dudes come out there and do this stuff? Not one of the running backs ever got in a fight. Like, we would just kind of stand there or just watch. It was a waste of time. You're in full body armor. Like, What is someone going to do to you?
Exactly.
I just remember just sitting there with, I'm Anthony Davis, a little guy, like short, not little. Like, he's stacked, but we would just be standing next to each other. And Coach Wright's like, what are you guys doing? You just stand there watching? He's like, should I get you guys popcorn? We're like, Coach, we're never running into these fights. With the O-line.
There's
no
pointless.
reason.
Only thing that's going to come up is you hurting your hand or something.
Right. It's so stupid. But watching a film was the best, though.
Yeah. I to be honest, I tell my guys not to fight, right? Like, they get in that situation, get over here, get out, go, because, I mean, just like you, I was in plenty of those as a player, and nothing good comes of it,
Nothing. So. I like when the O-line, D-line fight each other, because it's nice to stand and just watch these big mammoth humans. Coach, we only got like a couple more minutes. What are you really excited for tomorrow, for the launch, for your guys to showcase, and then moving into the fall? Like, what are you really excited for personally and for the guys in the room? Yeah,
tomorrow I'm really excited just for our guys to be able to go out there and show the people that are coming, the people that are going to be in attendance, the things that we've been working for as an offense, and, give them a brief little preview of the things that we plan on doing and executing in the fall. And for the fall, I'm just excited to be able to continue to work with these guys, man. The steps that they've taken in 12 practices and tomorrow being number 13 is unbelievable. They've been very accepting of my coaching style. They've done a phenomenal job of taking coaching and applying it and trying to apply it, whether it was right, wrong, or indifferent. And they just continue to find ways to grow day in and day out, and guys that you never anticipated or expected, like Gloudman. I mean, he is playing so hard and he's gotten so much better day in and day out. I'm blessed with the room that I have, and I'm excited to just work with these guys every chance that I get.
Coach, all right.
Coach,
go for it, Bern. It's all you.
No, I was just going to ask one more question.
Do it.
Luke Fickell. Everything I see on social media, everything you read, he's such a player's guy. He's been fantastic. What's your relationship with him?
Yeah, it's phenomenal. I mean, he gave me my first opportunity to be a graduate assistant, which got me into coaching football. And then, he gave me this opportunity to be his running back coach at Wisconsin RBU. So I'm very, very thankful to have the opportunity to work with him. I'm thankful to have the opportunity to know him, and I'm excited to be able to continue to work with him as long as I can.
All right. So going to get you out of here in just a second, but got to ask you first, you're new to Madison. What stood out about Madison? What's been your favorite place to eat?
Well, you can't go wrong with a Big Ten pub. It's convenient. It's right there. I like to go there. I like their little steak sandwich they got. I love Madison, man. I'm excited for the weather to start to get warm. All right. I am from Michigan, but it's time for
a couple months. You'll be there in June, July, maybe.
Yeah. Well, hey, as soon as we get it, I'll be in good shape. But I've heard the golf courses are really nice, and I really enjoy golfing, so I'm excited for that.
Awesome. Well, hopefully we can join you out in the links this summer, Coach. After Squat Fest, maybe a little.
That'd be phenomenal. I would love that.
All right.
I'd love that.
Let's make that happen. We'll talk to our friends over at Vibes. Maybe get a little something going over there. We hope
that'd be great.
Yeah. Well, we can make that happen. I have ideas. Anyway, we got to let Coach get back to coaching. We got to get back to our jobs. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today to the Believe in Badgers podcast on the Believe Podcast Network, presented by betonline.ag. And until next time, on Wisconsin.
On Wisconsin.